The Andromeda Galaxy was a vast expanse of stars and planets, many of which had known nothing but the iron grip of the Zaldorian Empire. The Zaldorians, a ruthless alien race, had conquered numerous civilizations, enslaving populations and exploiting resources with brutal efficiency. Among their victims was the peaceful planet of Zoran, inhabited by the gentle Zorans. For generations, the Zorans had lived in fear, their children often taken in Zaldorian raids for horrific experiments. In the far reaches of space, a human expeditionary fleet was completing a successful terraforming mission on the planet of Eos. The fleet was led by Captain Marissa Bennett, a seasoned leader known for her tactical brilliance and unyielding compassion. The crew was diverse, comprising members from different corners of the Sol system, each bringing unique skills and perspectives. Their mission was to expand humanity's presence in the galaxy and establish new colonies, but destiny had other plans. As the fleet prepared to leave Eos, a distress signal was intercepted. The signal was weak and fragmented, but its desperate tone was unmistakable. The fleet's communications officer, Lieutenant Arya Chen, worked tirelessly to decode the message. When she finally succeeded, the contents sent chills down everyone's spine. It was a plea for help from the Zorans, detailing the horrors inflicted upon their children by the Zaldorians. Captain Bennett called an emergency meeting. The holographic conference room filled with the faces of the fleet's senior officers, including her trusted second-in-command, Commander Javier Morales. "We have a decision to make," Marissa began, her voice steady but urgent. "Do we intervene in a conflict that's not ours, or do we stand by and let innocent children suffer?" Javier leaned forward, his eyes intense. "We can't ignore this, Captain. We've faced tough odds before, and we've always come through. We have to do something." The room fell silent as the officers absorbed the gravity of the situation. Dr. Alan Bryce, the fleet's chief scientist, spoke up. "I've been analyzing the data we received. The Zaldorians are highly advanced and heavily fortified. This won't be an easy fight." Marissa nodded. "I understand the risks, but our mission is more than just colonization. It's about exploring new frontiers, and sometimes that means standing up for what's right." Lieutenant Arya Chen displayed the decoded message on the central holoscreen. The image of a Zoran child, frail and terrified, flickered before them. "They need us," she said softly. "We can't let them down." The debate continued, with some officers expressing concerns about the potential fallout of engaging a powerful enemy like the Zaldorians. Others, inspired by Marissa's unwavering determination, argued in favor of intervention. The tipping point came when Chief Engineer Marcus O'Reilly spoke up. "Our ships are among the most advanced in the galaxy. We have the firepower and the technology. If anyone can stand up to the Zaldorians, it's us." A unanimous decision was reached. The human fleet would not stand idly by. They would fight for the Zorans and their children. Orders were given to prepare the fleet for battle. Engineers worked around the clock to upgrade weapons and shields, while soldiers underwent intensive training drills. The fleet moved swiftly through space, their destination set for Zoran. Captain Bennett and Commander Morales spent hours in the strategy room, analyzing Zaldorian tactics and planning their assault. They knew they had to be precise and swift to stand a chance against such a formidable enemy. Meanwhile, Dr. Alan Bryce and his team worked on integrating advanced AI systems into the fleet's command structure. These AI systems, capable of processing vast amounts of data in real time, would be crucial in coordinating their efforts during the heat of battle. On the bridge, the atmosphere was tense but focused. Marissa stood before her crew, her presence commanding respect. "We've chosen to fight for those who can't fight for themselves," she said. "We'll face challenges and make sacrifices, but we will not back down. Together, we will show the Zaldorians what humanity stands for." As the fleet approached Zoran, the first sight of the planet filled them with resolve. From orbit, they could see the scars of war and oppression. Marissa and her crew knew that their mission was not just about defeating an enemy, but about giving hope to a world that had long been devoid of it. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through the galaxy. The human fleet, driven by a sense of justice and compassion, was ready to take on the might of the Zaldorian Empire. The fate of Zoran and its children hung in the balance, and humanity was determined to tip the scales in their favor. The human fleet, now fully committed to the cause, entered a period of intense preparation. Captain Marissa Bennett led by example, often seen working alongside her crew, whether in strategy meetings or on the engineering decks. The fleet's engineers, under the guidance of Chief Engineer Marcus O'Reilly, worked tirelessly to enhance the ship's weaponry and shields. "We need every edge we can get," Marcus said, his voice echoing in the cavernous engineering bay. "The Zaldorians are no joke. Our ships need to be faster, stronger, and more resilient." Dr. Alan Bryce and his team focused on integrating advanced AI systems into the fleet's command structure. These AI systems, equipped with sophisticated algorithms, could predict enemy movements and suggest optimal counter-strategies in real time. The AI, named Athena, quickly became an indispensable asset. On the training grounds, soldiers underwent rigorous drills. Commander Javier Morales personally oversaw the training sessions, pushing the troops to their limits. "We have to be ready for anything," he said, his voice carrying authority and encouragement. "The Zaldorians are ruthless, but we're fighting for something greater than ourselves." In addition to combat training, cultural briefings were conducted to help the crew understand and empathize with the Zorans. Lieutenant Arya Chen, fluent in several alien languages, took the lead in these sessions. "Understanding who we're fighting for is just as important as knowing who we're fighting against," she explained. As the final preparations were made, a covert team was assembled for a critical mission. Lieutenant Nadia Patel, renowned for her stealth and reconnaissance skills, was chosen to lead the team. Their objective: infiltrate a Zaldorian outpost, gather intelligence, and locate the children. The covert team, clad in advanced stealth suits, embarked on their mission with a mix of determination and trepidation. The journey to the Zaldorian outpost was fraught with danger as they navigated through enemy patrols and security drones. Nadia Patel, with her keen instincts and tactical acumen, guided her team with precision. "We're close," Nadia whispered, her voice barely audible over the comms. "Stay sharp and follow my lead." Using their stealth technology, the team infiltrated the outpost, moving silently through the shadows. The Zaldorian facility was a maze of corridors and security checkpoints, but Nadia's meticulous planning paid off. They reached the central command center and accessed the mainframe, downloading crucial data on the Zaldorian defenses and the location of the children. What they found was horrifying. Detailed plans of further raids and experiments on children from various planets were stored in the Zaldorian database. The team quickly transmitted the data back to the human fleet. As they prepared to exfiltrate, they encountered a patrol. A tense firefight ensued, but Nadia's team, utilizing their training and advanced weaponry, managed to escape with minimal casualties. Back on the human flagship, the data was analyzed. The intelligence gathered by Nadia's team provided invaluable insights into the Zaldorian operations. Captain Bennett and Commander Morales immediately began planning their next move, using the newfound information to strike a decisive blow. With the intel from the covert mission, the human fleet launched a surprise attack on a key Zaldorian stronghold. The battle was fierce, with lasers and plasma bolts illuminating the darkness of space. The human ships, equipped with enhanced shields and advanced AI systems, engaged the Zaldorian forces with unmatched precision. Marissa Bennett stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Intrepid, directing the battle with calm authority. "Focus fire on their flagship," she ordered. "Let's cut off the head of the snake." The Intrepid unleashed a barrage of plasma torpedoes, striking the Zaldorian flagship with devastating force. The enemy ship's shields flickered and failed, and a secondary explosion rocked its hull. On the ground, human soldiers, led by Commander Javier Morales, stormed the Zaldorian defenses, engaging in close-quarter combat. Javier's tactical genius shone through as he directed his troops, exploiting weaknesses in the Zaldorian lines. "Push forward," he shouted, cutting down an enemy soldier. "We need to secure that command post." The battle raged on, each side fighting with relentless determination. Despite their technological superiority, the Zaldorians were unprepared for the ferocity and coordination of the human assault. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn in favor of the humans. In the midst of the chaos, Marissa received a transmission from Nadia's team. They had located the children and were ready to extract them. Marissa's heart pounded as she gave the order. All units, protect the extraction team at all costs. As the human forces pressed their advantage, the extraction team, led by Javier, reached the facility where the children were held. The sight of the imprisoned and terrified children fueled their determination. They fought through waves of Zaldorian soldiers, each step bringing them closer to their goal. Finally, they reached the holding cells. Javier and his team quickly disabled the security systems and freed the children. The Zoran children, though scared and weak, looked at their rescuers with hope in their eyes. "You're safe now," Javier reassured them. "We're taking you home." With the children secured, the human fleet began their withdrawal. The Zaldorians, reeling from the unexpected defeat, could do little to stop them. As the fleet jumped to hyperspace, Marissa allowed herself a moment of relief. They had won the first battle, but the war was far from over. The next phase of their mission awaited, and they would be ready. The human fleet returned to their temporary base on a hidden moon near Zoran, with the rescued children safely on board. The children, though traumatized, were now free from the clutches of the Zaldorians. Medical teams, led by Dr. Ilara Voss, worked tirelessly to provide care and comfort. Dr. Voss, a compassionate and skilled physician, understood the psychological scars as well as the physical ones. She coordinated with Lieutenant Arya Chen to provide language support, ensuring that the children felt understood and cared for. "We're not just healing their bodies," Ilara explained to her team. "We need to heal their spirits too." Captain Marissa Bennett watched as the children began to recover. Each smile, each moment of laughter fueled her resolve. She called a meeting of the senior officers to discuss their next move. "We need to hit the Zaldorians hard and fast," Marissa said. "We have the element of surprise on our side, but it won't last forever." Commander Javier Morales agreed. "Our recent victory has inspired other oppressed civilizations. We need to capitalize on this momentum and form a united front." Marissa nodded. "Arya, reach out to the leaders of these civilizations. Let's bring them together and form an alliance. We stand a better chance united than we do alone." News of the human intervention spread rapidly across the galaxy. Civilizations long oppressed by the Zaldorians began to rise up, emboldened by the human fleet's bravery. Marissa's call for an alliance was met with enthusiastic support. Leaders from various planets, including the resilient Taru and the strategic Valterans, responded. The Taru, a warrior race known for their strength and combat skills, pledged their support. General Kale, their leader, admired the humans' tenacity. "We have waited for this moment for generations," he declared. "The Zaldorians will pay for their tyranny." The Valtorans, masters of strategy and espionage, brought valuable intelligence and covert capabilities to the table. Their leader, Chancellor Leora, was a brilliant tactician. "Together, we can dismantle the Zaldorian Empire piece by piece," she said during a holo conference with Marissa and other allied leaders. The Grand Alliance, though diverse, shared a common goal: to dismantle the Zaldorian Empire and free their people. Joint operations were planned, with human forces providing technological and tactical support. The Alliance's first target was a series of key Zaldorian outposts that supplied resources to the Empire's war machine. Under the command of Captain Bennett, the Allied fleet launched coordinated strikes against these outposts. Each battle was a testament to the power of unity and determination. The Zaldorians, caught off guard by the coordinated assault, struggled to mount an effective defense. During one such battle, Marissa led a daring raid on a heavily fortified supply depot. The depot was vital for the Zaldorian fleet's operations in the sector. The fighting was brutal, with heavy casualties on both sides. Marissa's leadership and the Alliance's resolve turned the tide, and the depot was destroyed. The victory dealt a significant blow to the Zaldorian war effort and boosted the morale of the Allied forces. However, not all news was good. Reports of a traitor within the Alliance began to surface. Someone was leaking information to the Zaldorians, jeopardizing their operations. As the Alliance celebrated their recent victories, suspicion and paranoia began to spread. The traitors' actions had led to several ambushes, resulting in heavy losses. Marissa and Javier convened a meeting with the Allied leaders to address the crisis. "We need to find the traitor and neutralize the threat," Marissa said, her tone grim. "Until we do, our plans and our people are at risk." Chancellor Leora suggested an internal investigation, leveraging the Valterans' expertise in espionage. "We have the resources to conduct a thorough investigation," she said, "but we must proceed with caution. Trust is fragile in times like these." The investigation was launched, with Leora's agents working closely with human intelligence officers. They scrutinized communications, tracked movements, and conducted interviews. The tension among the Alliance members was palpable, but the need for unity kept them focused. Meanwhile, the Zaldorians, emboldened by the information they received from the traitor, launched a counteroffensive. They targeted key Alliance bases and supply lines, hoping to break the fledgling coalition before it could gain too much strength. During one of these attacks, Marissa and her crew found themselves under siege. The Zaldorian forces, led by the cunning General Korax, struck with precision. The battle was intense, with the Intrepid taking heavy damage. Marissa, ever the leader, directed her crew with unwavering resolve. "Hold the line," she commanded. "We can't let them break us." As the battle raged on, the investigation into the traitor bore fruit. Leora's agents discovered a high-ranking official within the Alliance who had been compromised by the Zaldorians. The traitor, under duress and threats to their family, had been feeding information to the enemy. The revelation was a bitter pill to swallow. The traitor was apprehended, but the damage had been done. The Alliance leaders, though shaken, resolved to strengthen their security and tighten their ranks. They would not let betrayal undermine their cause. Marissa, addressing the Alliance, said, "We've faced setbacks, but we will not falter. Our mission is just, and our resolve is unbreakable. The Zaldorians think they can break us, but they are wrong. We will stand together, and we will prevail." With renewed determination, the Alliance regrouped. Plans for the final assault on the Zaldorian capital were laid out, and preparations began in earnest. The stage was set for the decisive battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy. With the Alliance now strengthened by the removal of the traitor and bolstered by their recent victories, the plan for the final assault on the Zaldorian capital was set into motion. The capital, a heavily fortified planet named Coron Prime, was the heart of the Zaldorian Empire. Taking it would be no easy feat, but it was a necessary one to bring about lasting peace and end the reign of terror. Captain Marissa Bennett, alongside the Allied leaders, devised a multi-pronged strategy to siege Coron Prime. The plan involved coordinated attacks on key orbital defenses, followed by a ground assault on the capital city, Zaldrak. "We will hit them where it hurts the most," Marissa said in the final briefing. "Their defenses are strong, but our resolve is stronger. Every step we take brings us closer to peace and justice for all those who have suffered under their tyranny." The Allied fleet assembled at the edge of the Coron system, a formidable array of ships from various civilizations. The Taru warships, with their unmatched firepower, would spearhead the assault on the orbital defenses. The Valterans, experts in electronic warfare, would disrupt enemy communications and targeting systems. Human ships, equipped with advanced AI and adaptable tactics, would provide support and strike where needed. The siege began with a coordinated attack on the outer defenses. The space around Coron Prime erupted into chaos as the Allied fleet engaged the Zaldorian forces. Laser beams, plasma bolts, and missile salvos crisscrossed the void. The Taru warships pounded the Zaldorian stations with relentless barrages, while the Valteran ships created confusion and disruption. Marissa, aboard the Intrepid, directed her forces with precision. "Focus fire on the primary defense platforms. We need to create a breach for the ground assault." Despite the fierce resistance, the Alliance managed to punch through the orbital defenses. A path to Coron Prime's surface was secured. The ground assault teams, led by Commander Javier Morales and General Kale of the Taru, prepared to descend. The ground assault on Zaldrak was met with intense resistance. The Zaldorians, knowing that their capital was under threat, fought with desperation. The streets of the city turned into battlegrounds as Allied forces clashed with the Zaldorian military. Commander Javier Morales led the human contingent, coordinating with General Kale. "We need to take the Central Command Center," Javier instructed. "That's where we can end this." The fighting was brutal and relentless. The Zaldorians, using their knowledge of the terrain, set up ambushes and defensive positions. However, the Alliance's superior tactics and determination slowly turned the tide. Meanwhile, Marissa and a select team of elite soldiers undertook a daring mission to infiltrate the Zaldorian command center. Their goal was to capture or eliminate General Corax, the mastermind behind the Zaldorian defenses. The infiltration team used stealth technology to bypass security and penetrated deep into the heart of the command center. Inside, they faced fierce opposition, but Marissa's leadership and combat skills shone through. They fought their way through, room by room, until they reached the central control chamber. There, they confronted General Corax, a towering figure of menace. Corax activated a self-destruct sequence, hoping to destroy the command center and take his enemies with him. Marissa, in a final, brutal confrontation, managed to disable the sequence and defeat Corax. The battle was intense and personal, with Marissa drawing on every ounce of her strength and skill to overcome the ruthless general. With Corax defeated, Marissa transmitted a signal to Javier and the Allied leaders. "The command center is secured. We've taken down Corax." Despite the victory at the command center, the battle for Zaldrak was far from over. The Zaldorian forces, though leaderless, continued to fight fiercely. The Alliance pushed forward, their eyes set on the heart of the Zaldorian capital. The final objective was the Imperial Palace, a symbol of Zaldorian power and oppression. Marissa and her team regrouped with Javier's forces. "We need to end this," she said, determination blazing in her eyes. "The palace is our last target." The Allied forces launched their final assault on the Imperial Palace. The Zaldorians had fortified it heavily, and the approach was fraught with danger. The Allied troops, however, fought with unparalleled bravery and determination. They stormed the palace gates, engaging in fierce combat with the remaining Zaldorian defenders. Inside the palace, the fighting intensified. Marissa and Javier led the charge, their resolve unshakable. They moved through the grand halls, facing fierce resistance at every turn. The Zaldorians, knowing that defeat was imminent, fought with the ferocity of cornered animals. In the throne room, the last stand of the Zaldorian elite took place. Marissa, Javier, and General Kale fought side by side, cutting through the enemy ranks. The battle was fierce, with each moment pushing them to their limits. As the Allied forces secured the palace, the remaining Zaldorian soldiers surrendered. The sight of their leader's defeat broke their will to fight. The once mighty Zaldorian Empire crumbled before the unity and determination of the Alliance. The news of the victory spread rapidly. Across the galaxy, oppressed civilizations celebrated their newfound freedom. The defeat of the Zaldorians marked the beginning of a new era. The Alliance, forged in the fires of war, pledged to work together to rebuild and ensure peace and justice. Captain Marissa Bennett, Commander Javier Morales, and the leaders of the Alliance stood as symbols of hope and resilience. Their bravery and unity had brought an end to the reign of terror, paving the way for a brighter future. The fall of the Zaldorian Empire sent ripples of relief and joy throughout the galaxy. Celebrations erupted on countless planets as the news spread. The once oppressed civilizations could finally breathe freely, their futures no longer shrouded in fear and tyranny. For the members of the Alliance, the victory marked both an end and a beginning. Captain Marissa Bennett stood on the bridge of the Intrepid, looking out at the serene expanse of space. The battles were over, but the work of rebuilding had just begun. "We've won the war, but now we have to win the peace," she said, addressing her crew. "Our mission doesn't end with victory. It continues with ensuring that the sacrifices made were not in vain." The Intrepid and other Allied ships became beacons of hope as they traveled to various liberated planets, offering aid and support. Medical teams, engineers, and diplomats worked tirelessly to help these worlds recover. Dr. Ilara Voss led medical missions, providing care to those who had suffered under Zaldorian rule. Lieutenant Arya Chen facilitated communication between diverse cultures, fostering understanding and cooperation. Commander Javier Morales was instrumental in coordinating reconstruction efforts. He and General Kale oversaw the dismantling of the remaining Zaldorian military infrastructure and the establishment of new, democratic governance structures. "This is our chance to build something better," Javier said to a group of newly appointed planetary leaders. "We have to learn from the past and ensure that such tyranny never rises again." On Zoran, the planet where it all began, the transformation was profound. The Zoran children, once imprisoned and tormented, now played freely in the sunlit fields. The sight filled Marissa with a deep sense of fulfillment. She visited the planet, accompanied by Nadia Patel, whose brave infiltration mission had been pivotal in the early days of the conflict. "Look at them," Nadia said, her voice filled with emotion. "We did this. We gave them their future back." Marissa nodded, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. "We did, and we'll keep fighting for that future every day." A grand ceremony was held on Zoran to honor the Alliance and commemorate their victory. Leaders from across the galaxy gathered to celebrate their unity and pledge to uphold the principles that had brought them together. Marissa, Javier, and the other key figures of the Alliance were recognized for their bravery and leadership. General Kale, standing tall and proud, addressed the assembled crowd. "We are more than the sum of our parts. Together we have shown that unity and justice can triumph over oppression and fear. Let this be a new dawn for all our worlds." Chancellor Leora of the Valterans spoke next, her voice resonating with wisdom and determination. "We must remain vigilant and continue to work together. Our strength lies in our diversity and our shared commitment to peace." As the ceremony concluded, Marissa took a moment to reflect on the journey. The battles, the sacrifices, the moments of despair and triumph, all had led to this moment. She looked at Javier, who stood beside her, and smiled. "We did it, Javier." He smiled back, his eyes filled with pride. "We did. And now, we have to make sure it lasts." The Allied fleet, now a symbol of hope and resilience, set off on a new mission to ensure that the galaxy remained a place of peace, justice, and cooperation. They knew that challenges lay ahead, but they also knew that together they could overcome anything. As the Intrepid soared through the stars, Marissa felt a profound sense of purpose. The galaxy had been given a second chance, and humanity had played a crucial role in that transformation. The future was bright, and she was ready to face it head-on, alongside her allies and friends. This was not just the end of a war, but the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter of hope, unity, and endless possibilities. The galaxy was free, and the dawn of a new era had begun.